Hey fellow travelers, Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're in New York, England, and today what I have for you are 5 words of advice for first-time travelers abroad. And the first thing I want to tell you is you're thinking of going abroad, don't worry if you don't speak the language of the country you're going to. It's normal when you travel around the world. Not everyone is going to speak your language, and that's okay. That helps us kind of break out of our shell and have much more of an exciting experience when we go abroad. But if you are worried that they don't speak the language that you speak and the country you're going to go to, realize if you speak English, that's the de facto tourist language everywhere in the world, okay? So you have that going for you. Also, if you're really worried, go to countries that also speak your language. So if you're from the US, come here to England. York is beautiful. Go to Ireland, go to Australia, New Zealand. You can go places where they speak your language as the native tongue. But just realize, you don't have to go places that they speak your language, especially if you speak English, because that is the de facto tourist language. So don't let that stop you, okay? That's the first thing I want to tell you. Now, the second thing I want to tell you as a first-time traveler abroad, keep your mind open. Look, you gotta be open-minded when you travel abroad in terms of the sights you see, in terms of the food you eat, and how you meet people. And what's one thing that's really cool is when you travel around the world, you start to realize there's not a lot of differences between people in England and the US or Rwanda and Tanzania and Brazil, because we all want to have a good time. We all want to have fun. We all want to have friends. We all want our kids to do better in the world, right? And you start to realize that we're all not very different, but you got to keep an open mind when you go. So you go and meet people, and you're willing to meet people when you're there. You're willing to try other food. You might not think that black pudding's going to be good for you. It's made out of blood, and no, it might not be good for you, but it still tastes good, and you should have when you're here in England with breakfast, of course. But it's really going to help you if you travel abroad just to have an open mind, and don't say things are weird or we do it back home this way. Think of it this way, it's just different here, and that's okay. Now, the third word of advice I have for you for first time going abroad is, if you're not sure where to go, how do you decide? Well, there's different things you can ask yourself. Maybe you want to figure out your family heritage. I know my mom, she loves learning about the genealogy of our family. So when we go travel, we go to Scotland, we go to France, we go to Germany to see where our family was from. And that can be a very powerful trip to see where your family came from. Go to that church your great-great-grandma went to, see the grave of your triple, quadruple, 7 times, back grandfather in Scotland. I mean, those things can be very powerful. So that can help you get an idea where you might want to go. But also, think about what you want to do. Do you want a food trip? Well, then you know what? Maybe going to Italy and learning how to make pasta, or going to France and learning how to make macarons. That might be something that works for you. Or maybe you want more nature. Then you know what? If you want nature, go to Ecuador, because there you can get all the biomes of the world right there, okay? So there's different things you can do where you want to go, because there's no one perfect, trip abroad, okay? Be open, like I said, open-minded, but just kind of think about, what do I want to get out of it? And that can help you lead into different destinations. Because one of the toughest questions I get from people is, where should I go travel? Well, it depends. What do you want to do? What do you like? That's going to help you decide where you should go on your first trip abroad. Now, my fourth tip for first-time travelers abroad might seem kind of counterproductive or going against what this video really stands for, but it really is don't blindly follow some YouTuber giving you advice or some TikTok person giving you travel advice or showing you a thing on Instagram. Because I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of YouTubers, there's a lot of TikTokers, Instagrammers that make sites look amazing that aren't really that amazing. Like, do you really want to sit there for 3 hours trying to get the right picture for an Instagram post? No, you want to go explore. So all the advice you get from YouTubers like myself or TikTokers or Instagrammers, take it with a grain of salt and make sure you're doing your own research. Don't just blindly follow them, because some YouTubers and some Instagrammers and travel influencers, I know they get paid to go to a destination and talk nice about it when the place isn't really that nice. So do be aware of that, okay? And take it with a grain of salt. Just don't blindly follow them. And then my fifth tip for you for traveling abroad for the first time is, don't pack so much. Whatever you pack, take half of it out, repack it, and then take half of that out, and then you'll be good to go. Because if you pack too much stuff when you're going, how are you going to go over cobblestones with 2 huge suitcases and a carry-on and a backpack? You're not. Travel with a carry-on and a backpack, and that's it, because you want to be loose, you want to be nimble. Also, you want to have space in case you buy some things. You want extra space, because honestly, you don't need to bring the kitchen sink. Your hair straightener from back home is probably going to blow up in the plugs here in Europe, so don't bring that stuff with you, okay? Pack as light as you can, because you don't need to have everything with you. You'll be fine. They have laundry all over the world, okay? And that's why I always tell people, look, think of the rule of 5s. Have 5 outfits. You got 5 tops, 5 bottoms, 5 undies, 5 socks, You'll be fine. You can do your laundry, all these things. And literally that's what I do. And I'll go travel for months at a time with just 5 outfits. It's okay. You don't have to pack everything. That's one of the biggest mistakes I see first-time travelers. They just bring too much stuff. So don't pack so much, all right? So those are 5 tips I have for first-time travelers abroad. What are some of your tips for first-time travelers abroad? Put in the comments section below so other first-time travelers have more advice from other travelers like ourselves. And I wish you all fantastic travels, whether it's your first time going abroad or your 500th. Have fun traveling. Bye from here in York, England.